Thank you, Brian. A woman is being forced out of her home after suffering an unspeakable tragedy. On Thanksgiving Eve, Karen Perry lost her 3 children and her ex-husband in a plane crash. She learned only 4 months later that she was facing foreclosure in her home as well. And to make matters worse, a Good Samaritan tried to help Karen save her home through a short sale, only to have mortgage giant Freddie Mac stand in the way. They told her that move was against company policy. Now she's about to be kicked out of the home she raised her kids in, with the only memories she's had to hold on to. Joining me now live from Phoenix is Karen Perry, along with Fox News legal analyst Bob Massey, who joins us live from Las Vegas. Good morning to the both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gretchen.
Karen, my heart goes out to you. My goodness, as a mom, I can't imagine the pain that you're going through in losing your entire family. And now you might lose your home and the memories that you have with your children there. What can you tell us is going to happen to you?
Well, what I can tell you is that, I did want to stay in the home, and the memories are in the home, but no one can take those memories away from me. What was most important to me about the home is no longer there. I would have preferred to have stayed, but that doesn't seem to be a possibility at this point.
So Bob, you've been covering so many of these foreclosure stories for us in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. What do you make of the situation that's happening with Karen right now? What happened? Why is she being forced out?
Because Freddie Mac and Ocwen, when you sell a home on a short sale, Gretchen, there's supposed to be what we call an arm's length transaction, which essentially means that the homeowner is not permitted to stay in the home. And the theory behind it is that it avoids fraud so that the homeowner doesn't sell the home, stay in the home, and they literally get a principal reduction. This is ridiculous. This is an exception to the rule that any lender, Freddie Mac could have made an exception. I spoke with her lawyer, who's a wonderful lawyer in Phoenix, and he said, Bob, we tried every possible way. They knew the story. They knew what her losses were. They knew this wonderful person that was going to allow her to stay in that home and rent it back to preserve her memories. And they looked the other way with no heart, with no compassion. It is sickening.
And Karen, I know what people may not understand is that your husband, your ex-husband, had filed for bankruptcy, so that put you in a difficult situation with being able to pay the bills. You also had to pay for the funerals and the attorney's fees for the divorce from your now deceased ex-husband. So you were already facing financial straits, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Now, this Good Samaritan who came forward, that must have been a godsend to you at that time, because you thought, well, at least I'll be able to stay in my home.
I thought it was a wonderful idea. I thought it was very, very kind. I don't know who this person was, but that situation didn't work out, so.
So now she's going to be moving out of her home, Bob. She has to find another place to live, but in the meantime, what can you do, Bob, if anything, to help Karen Perry?
Unfortunately, legally, there's nothing that could be done right now because the lender has the gold and they make the golden rules. But what I hope that this sends to those people in a position of authority in America to show the outrageous conduct of somebody like Freddie Mac and Ocwen, who serviced the loan, that they could take a family, a woman who's lost it all, and I have no idea, God love her, how she's even able to breathe with the losses and the pain that she's had, and then they throw her out. There is no heart in this country anymore from those people. They have to understand these are real people with real faces and real lives, Gretchen, and that's why this story needed to be told. This should not be happening in America.
Well, here is Freddie Mac's response to Karen Perry's housing crisis. As Ms. Perry's mortgage has gone unpaid since February 2010, the short sale will reduce the property tax and loan costs Freddie Mac and taxpayers sustained over the past 2 years. Of course, we share her and her community's grief over last fall's tragedy, and we remain hopeful for a mutually positive outcome. But I guess your point, Bob, is that this is a protocol, not a mandate, not a law. They could have had an exception.
Sure, and I spoke with her lawyer, and yeah, and all lenders have these type of protocols. But you know the thing about this, Gretchen? Do you know that Karen and this Good Samaritan They could have done this transaction, even though they would have signed an arm's length transaction statement, and never disclosed the fact that she was going to live back into that home, because it does happen. Doesn't make it right, but it does happen. This is something that it was nothing to this. All they had to do was say, look, this is an exception. This is a homeowner in America that's lost her family. Let her stay in her home and rent the home. It's not like she owns it.
Right.
Let her rent the home back.
All right, Bob, thanks so much for your help. And Karen, again, our sympathies are with you as you struggle with this latest development. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Gretchen and Bob.